Growing a business is kind of tricky right now. Supply chains are squeezed, tariffs and trade policies are dynamic, and cash flow, it's tighter than ever. You need clarity to come out on top. Without it, you risk falling behind. If only you could hop in the DeLorean and see the future, right? Thankfully, there's NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite has real-time forecasting to help you move ahead with confidence. This is your AI-powered business management suite and the #1 cloud ERP. Trusted by over 42,000 businesses, NetSuite brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all under one roof. It's your single source of truth, giving you the data and control you need to move quickly. And with AI built in, you can automate the busy work and focus on strategy. NetSuite helps you see what's stuck, what it's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If I were running a business with a lot of moving parts, I'd use NetSuite for full control over everything. Tame the chaos with NetSuite. If your revenues are at least in 7 figures, download the free ebook, Navigating Global Trade, 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/SPI. That's netsuite.com/SPI. You spent months building towards launch day, but when the clock hits 0, your site crashes. Bots swarm, and loyal fans rage on Reddit. That's not good. Fanfare was built to stop that. Fanfare is the drop platform made for high-pressure moments, stampede-proof infrastructure, verified waitlists, and bot filters that actually work. Instead of refunds and rage, you get retention and revenue. And that sounds great to me. Your next launch shouldn't be a gamble. Get Fanfare's 5-step hype drop playbook and learn how to bulletproof your drop at fanfare.io/playbook. Again, that's fanfare.io/playbook. Hey, I get it. You've worked really hard to build up your business, and it's doing great. So great that you need help now. The most important thing for your business is to hire the right people to support it. So how can you find amazing candidates quickly? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you stand out and hire fast. And with Sponsored Jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. And it makes a huge difference. According to Indeed data, Sponsored Jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. And it's one of the largest databases of job seekers, too, giving business owners access to a wide range of candidates. And one of the things I love most about Indeed is the job alerts feature. I get notified when new candidates apply. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/smartpassive. Just go to Indeed.com/smartpassive right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/smartpassive. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring Indeed is all you need. This is the Smart Passive Income Podcast with Pat Flynn, session number 117. Cut it.
Welcome to the Smart Passive Income Podcast, where it's all about working hard now so you can sit back and reap the benefits later. And now your host, who once had a lucid dream about having a lucid dream, Pat Flynn.
Still using a copy-paste website? Break the template trap with Framer. Whether you're overwhelmed by traditional site builders or frustrated with cookie-cutter designs, Framer gives you the freedom to create a site that's professional, polished, and uniquely yours. Framer is the design-first, no-code website builder that lets anyone ship a production-ready site in minutes. It's free to start, allowing you to browse hundreds of pixel-perfect templates or even design something on your own on a totally blank canvas. Add bold animations like appear effects, text effects, parallax scrolling, scroll animations, looping animations, and much more in seconds. The built-in AI handles the heavy lifting, generating starter layouts, and can even translate your entire site to any language. Ready to build a site that looks hand-coded without hiring a developer? Launch your site for free at framer.com and use code SPI to get your first month of Pro on the house. That's framer.com, promo code SPI. Framer.com, promo code SPI. Rules and restrictions may apply. Do you know the secret to businesses that are scaling faster than ever? They're using Upwork to tap into a diverse pool of skilled freelancers across various industries. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts who are ready to help you take your business to the next level. I've personally used Upwork myself and can vouch for it. Posting a job on Upwork is easy. With no cost to join, you can register, browse freelancer profiles, get help drafting a job post, or even book a consultation. From there, you connect with freelancers that get you and can easily hire them to take your business to the next level. Upwork makes the entire process easier, simpler, and more affordable with industry low fees. Post a job today and hire tomorrow with Upwork. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That is Upwork.com to post your job for free and connect with top talent ready to help you grow your business. That's Upwork.com. Again, Upwork.com. What's up, and welcome to session 117 of the Smart Passive Income Podcast. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I'm definitely going to make it worth your while. And actually, it's not all going to be me. It's going to be our guest today, which is Dwight Peters, the founder of BackersHub.com, which was not his first company. Actually, Dwight and I have been in contact with each other since 2012 when I first supported him in his first Kickstarter campaign. And we're going to talk all about that and why that actually failed and how we got to a point where he was actually sleeping on his friend's couch in San Francisco, and it got to really desperate times, and how we turned that around to a very, very successful company now, BackersHub.com. Very inspirational story. Dwight is very open about everything that he went through and how his business is going. And so let's just dive right into the interview. This is Dwight Peters, again, founder of BackersHub.com. I know you're going to enjoy it. Check it out. What's up, everybody? I'm really happy to welcome Dwight Peters to the show. Dwight, how are you today? Thanks for coming on.
Thanks a lot, Pat. It's awesome. Great to be here.
I'm very happy today because we're going to be talking about how you took something that you heard in another episode of the SPI podcast and created something for yourself. And you are doing amazing things right now. We'll get into that. But just talk about really quick about who you are and what it is exactly that you do.
Sure, man. Once again, I'm Dwight Peters, I guess. I'm from New York. I'm the founder of BackersHub. BackersHub is a community of Kickstarter backers. What we do is weekly flash sales of Kickstarter-funded products exclusively for backers. So in order to be a member of our community, you have to be a backer. And every week we send out awesome newsletters that feature deals on Kickstarter-funded products and also alerts on early bird rewards from current campaigns.
Nice. And where did this idea to create BackersHub come from?
It was a mixture of a lot of things, but I guess it started back last summer. I was in school last year. I won the business plan competition at my school for another idea. Shout out to Baruch College here in New York. And I took my winning and I bought a one-way ticket to San Francisco. I got on the plane. I came out to San Fran. I had a couple of buddies out here that allowed me to sleep on their couch. And the goal was just to keep building on the idea that helped me win the business plan competition. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Really couldn't get it to grow as quickly as I wanted it to. Mm-hmm. And I was running out of cash. I was literally broke after a month and a half or so of being in San Francisco. It's pretty expensive out there.
Yeah, but, definitely. That's for sure.
Yeah, right. So after a month and a half, I was out there and I had no money to get back. Things were getting really, really tight, and I had to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? And it was pretty cool in a way because that's exactly why I went out there. I wanted to put myself, as weird as it may sound, I wanted to put myself in a position where,
your back's up against the wall, right?
Yeah, it was just do or die, right? In a sense. So, so the idea for BackersHub came from several places. The competition that I participated in college that I won, I started a tech accessory brand called Crowd Cases. We were selling custom iPhone and Samsung Galaxy cases on behalf of nonprofits. The idea was to partner up with nonprofits and create custom cases that represented their cause. Long story short, that wasn't working out, but what I did have was inventory of iPhone cases, blank iPhone cases that I could customize. Mm-hmm. And 2 years prior to that, I launched a Kickstarter campaign myself. So I knew, I had a little bit of experience with Kickstarter and, just brainstorming ideas. How can I make some quick money to buy a plane ticket? I said, hey, what if I reach out to Kickstarter campaign creators and see if they wanted to offer custom iPhone cases or Samsung Galaxy cases as one of their rewards? And that got the conversation started. That's what started the process of BackersHub. When I started BackersHub, initially we wanted to help campaign creators with their reward manufacturing, if they wanted to make T-shirts or, iPhone cases, Samsung Galaxy cases, or posters, any auxiliary items that they wanted to offer as rewards.
Yeah, it sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and we hope that we can actually get that segment going. But what we ended up doing was really tapping into the pain point. And I guess that conversation starts when, I listened to Carl Madiola's interview that you had with him. And Carl started talking about, really finding your client's pain point, what's keeping them up at night. And I had the opportunity of actually meeting up with Carl out in San Francisco after your interview. I reached out to him and we talked, and he really broke that down for me. And yeah, I ended up going back to the campaign creators I were talking to because they weren't really biting on it. They were excited about it, but it wasn't really what was keeping them up. What was keeping them up was they wanted to get backers. Mm-hmm. And once I realized that, that's when BackersHub truly started. I knew that if I could help campaign creators get backers, get in front of backers, that we could definitely get something going.
Nice. So for everybody out there listening, Carl Mattiolo was featured in episode number 82, which you can see or get or listen to at smartpassiveincome.com/session 82. Can you share some insight on what that conversation was like? How did Carl and his story help sort of guide you toward this direction?
Man, the way how Carl started, just listening to his podcast, and I'm trying not to go off a tangent. I really want to keep everything structured as possible. But man, hearing Carl's story was really, I needed to hear that, right? It was like at the perfect time because, dude, when I say I was broke, right? And we don't do stuff for the money. We want to create value, but it was a little bit of both because my pride was getting in the way too, right? Like I didn't want to come back to New York and not have something that was valuable, that people really loved, that people were excited to be a part of, and something that was actually generating revenue. And hearing Carl talk about what he learned in the foundation, from Dane and other guys there of just, creating a product aligned with what your clients want, it really helped. It took out all of the guessing. It took out all the guessing. It took out all of the, just thinking without really having a clear path. So, hearing that interview, and I reached out to Carl. After that interview, I sent Carl an email, a real email saying, hey, dude, I'm out here. I'm broke on my friend's couch. I would love to get a cup of coffee with you. Heard your interview on Pat Flynn. Would love to grab a cup of coffee and just chop it up with you and see what I can learn. And man, he answered. Hey, Pat, you still there?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I got cut off there for a sec. But it's okay. We keep those in because this is real stuff right here.
Yeah.
No, this is awesome, Dwight. Thank you so much. Now, when you say, you learn to sort of get to the root of the pains of your target audience, how did you end up doing that? Did you actually have conversations with people starting Kickstarter campaigns?
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what I jumped in. And I guess, when I was asking campaign creators about the iPhone cases, hey, would you like to offer this as a reward? I thought it was pretty cool. And, but I was getting a lukewarm response, right? Like it was, yeah, that's nice. What else can you offer? Mm-hmm. And I started saying, hey, if you guys need T-shirts, posters, we could do that. And then, I guess listening to Carl's interview, it really taught me to, instead of offering stuff, I should just ask. Like, what do you need, right? What keeps you up? What's making you scratch your hair out at night? Mm-hmm. And the answer, organically came. Like these campaign creators, they only have 30 days, right? Or 45 days or whatever it is to reach their goal. So ultimately, that's what's keeping them up. They need to do everything possible to reach their goal. Everything else is secondary.
Right. So instead of providing sort of the, because these rewards for people who pledge on Kickstarter, that might help get backers.
Yeah.
But it also might not. And you're just skipping that and you're saying, okay, well, what if we just had a bunch of backers?
Yeah. So
keep going with the story. What happened after that?
So what we wanted to do was help campaign creators get on Kickstarter's newsletter. But I'm not sure if you're familiar with or if the audience is familiar with, Kickstarter sends out one weekly newsletter every week highlighting 3 campaigns. But what the thing is, the way how they go about picking those campaigns. And every day there are dozens of new campaigns. Every week there are hundreds of new campaigns on the platform. So to get on the newsletter is pretty darn hard. It's not impossible, but it's like winning the lottery, right? Mm-hmm. So you would do anything to get on the newsletter, but chances of you actually getting on the newsletter is totally up to the mercy of Kickstarter. So we realized that Kickstarter was doing something. They were promoting campaigns to their email list of backers. We did some research. We realized that 60% of Kickstarter revenue comes from repeat backers. They understood the process. So we said, okay, if we can't get these guys on Kickstarter's newsletter, let's do the next best thing. Let's create our own newsletter with the same members of the community.
Wow, that's very cool. And I can say I'm also a repeat backer. I've purchased several things on Kickstarter. Now, how do you go about doing something like that? Like it's easy to say, oh, well, let's get a list of backers. That's another thing to actually implement that. What were your first steps?
Yeah, man, our first steps were pretty brutal, man. So let me say, first thing that we wanted to do was quickly validate the idea, right? And by quickly validating the idea, we wanted to make sure that I say we, it's my cousin and I,
Hmm.
we didn't want to waste our time. We didn't have money to waste. Funds were very limited, and we didn't really want to waste time. So the first thing was get a paying customer. That was the first thing we did before we even start building a list. We say, look, we're going to see if we can find somebody that's actually willing to pull out their credit card and say, yes, I think this is of a good enough idea that I'm willing to pay for it. So on October 16th, we got our first customer to actually say, hey, I would pay to be on a newsletter that goes out to backers. And, we made sure that we set the right expectations with the first client. We offered a full money refund, but it wasn't to get the money. It was just to see, okay, is this something that people really, really want? Because people could say, yeah, I like your idea. I would definitely, use it, but never pull out the credit card, right? That always happened. But we wanted to get that in.
So you actually got this person to pay.
Yes, we got him to pay first, and then we said, okay, damn it, he paid. Crap.
Now we got to do this.
We got to build it. It's either we build it or we refund him the money, right? It's like, dude, we can't refund him the money. Like, we really need this. So, our back was to the wall again, but in a good way. Like, okay, somebody's willing to pay for it. Let's build it. Mm-hmm. So, we tried different tactics. We gave ourselves enough space to start building up the list. We started small too. We set the right expectations. We told people, look, in the beginning, we'll promote you to a few hundred. And we did everything that we can to build up the list quickly as possible. What I can say is, I can't really go into all of the nooks and crannies.
Right, that's your secret sauce, right?
So exactly, right? But what I will say is that, partnerships is very powerful, man. And giving value is definitely important. So, yeah, one of the things that really has been helping us a lot is the flash sales. Once we figured that out, like a light bulb went off in my head one day saying, hey, man, there's a lot of campaigns out there that backers probably missed out on. Me, myself, I'm a repeat backer. I backed over 35 campaigns, right? And there's a ton of campaigns that I missed out on, not because for whatever reason, sometimes I just didn't know that the campaign was actually live, right? Kickstarter is so oversaturated with so many cool ideas. So I said to myself, I think it would be pretty cool if we could get backers that missed out on campaigns a close enough deal to the actual Kickstarter deal once it was live. And once we did that, that's when, our list really started to grow.
Wow. So and if you don't want me saying this, I can always edit it out, but you're creating deals with providers, people who start Kickstarter programs for people who may have missed the initial pledging period.
But for only backers, so you have to be a backer to get access to it.
Right. Okay. Wow. That is so incredible. I mean, it's just, it almost seems like something like that should have already existed, right? But when, sometimes it just takes a little bit deeper thinking and even asking people like you did to understand what the solutions might be and then creating a platform to facilitate all that.
Yeah, man. And, we try to keep it as cool as possible. We have a private Facebook group where the backers all engage, most of them engage. Let me not say all of them. Some people, for some reason, don't like Facebook. But anyway, we have over 2,600 backers in there. But it's a very highly active community where our backers are sharing other campaigns. They talk about their experience on Kickstarter. They share product reviews. So, it's a community amongst itself that's really starting to grow.
That is awesome. And I can imagine with that many backers, that's a big, powerful force right there. You could essentially, in your position, just say, hey, everybody, let's back this together. And boom, that thing has already met its goal.
Yeah, man, it's pretty cool, man. We've been talking about that ourselves as well. What direction we want to take that in. But yeah, the possibilities are definitely there. We're constantly listening to the community itself. Making sure that everything that we do is aligned with what they want to participate in. But yeah, man, they truly appreciate it. We just try to keep. We just serve as gatekeepers. That's what we tell ourselves. Right. We're just facilitators. We're just moderators. We let the community definitely lead itself.
I was going to ask you, how do you make sure your promotions are in alignment with what the community does? And you've sort of answered that already, because I think that's really important. Obviously, you're going to get hit up a lot by people who want their products in front of your audience. How do you filter through what's good and what's not?
So we send out a weekly survey every week where backers could, for the deals specifically, they can mention campaigns that they missed out on that they would like to get partake in. So if we notice like we're getting the same campaigns getting mentioned, then we'll definitely reach out to that product. And it works even better for us because now when we reach out to, that manufacturer or the product or the campaign creator or whatever they are, we could say, hey, look, guys, our community is asking for this, right? It's not like we're just saying, hey, we want to do a flash sale with you guys, but we can actually say, hey, look, a substantial amount of our backers are really interested in this. This is going to be awesome for you guys.
That's incredible. They're as if they're saying, you're being requested by everybody.
Yeah, right? Like, who doesn't like to be vetted? Like, hey, dude, man, people are really asking about you guys. So, yeah.
That is really smart. First of all, congratulations on the great idea and all of the success so far. Talk about when you first launched. What was that like? How were you feeling and how successful was it?
So October 16th is when we got the first sale. I'll never forget that day because it's funny enough, I was watching another SPI interview, Noah Kagan, his most recent one. And it was in the middle of the night. And but Noah in that interview said, whatever you're doing right now, take action right now. If you're going to make a sale, do it right now. And that's what he just kept saying over and over in that podcast.
Yeah.
And that's how I made the first sale. I was talking to a guy, Chris. It was like 1:30 in the morning. And Chris and we were going back and forth. I was telling him, hey, Chris, we're working on this new idea. Would you be interested? And I kid you not, Pat, it was literally when he asked me how much would I charge to be on the newsletter, it was literally 1:47 in the morning. And that is how much I told him because I didn't know. I had no experience.
It was 1:47 a.m.
Yeah,
and that is what determined your price.
Because I did not know what to charge. And I didn't know if he was going to say yes or no. So it was like, all right, 147. And he's like, okay. And 2 minutes later, we had the PayPal in our account. Or two minutes later, we had the money in our PayPal account.
Wow, that's super awesome. That's really funny, actually. So for those of you listening, Noah Kagan, episode 71, smartpassiveincome.com/session71. That is one of the most popular episodes that we've had so far. And that's really funny. If you could go back into time and tell yourself something that you wish you did differently, what would it be in regards to that, initial first time you sold something?
Start quicker. Just I would have moved faster. But that's all in hindsight. And try not to overthink everything. I tell my friends all the time. I joke around. I don't have that many talents, right? I don't code. I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not a copywriter. I'm like learning to write better copy, but there's one good thing I am at, and that's just connecting with people, right? If I want to connect with a person some way, somehow, I'm going to figure out how to connect the dots. And I should have just trusted myself more in that. I figured out where to find possible customers. I should have just connected the dots from earlier and just just run with it. But yeah.
Absolutely. Now, in terms of the pricing and picking 147, is there anything you wish you did differently in terms of that? Because I remember when I first got offered to do or to place banner ads on my site at Green Exam Academy for another company, I was just caught with that question and I didn't know what to say. So I just said $50 because that's the only thing I could think of. And then the next month I experimented and I added $100 to it and people were really quick to jump on that. 250 really quick, 350 really quick. So I definitely, because I wasn't prepared, I didn't know what it was worth at the beginning, and I just totally undersold myself. But it was nice to get that first sale, and when in that first sale, you're always just wanting that, right? And there's a balance between wanting your first sale, but making sure you are getting paid for the value that you're providing. Do you have any advice, or is there anything you wish you did differently with that?
Yeah, man. Nothing I wish I would have done differently, but everything was really a progression, right? Because this was all a learning experience for us. But I think Matt, from your most recent podcast, he touched on it at the end of his interview when he talked about creating tiers. He had 3 different prices for it, right? So at first we started with 147, and then we got really creative on how other ways we can monetize what we were working with. And that's everything too. We weren't waiting to monetize. We were going to monetize this from the get-go. Like that's something that we told ourselves, like, let's not wait. Let's not, offer anything for free, whatever. Let's just monetize it, put as much value as possible in it, and let people feel comfortable paying for it. But something that Matt touched on in your last podcast, creating tiers. Once we created tiers, we started off with 147, then we created another package for 297, and then we created another package for 497. And that's when sales really started to take off because we were giving people options. And not only were we giving them options, but we were giving them different levels of value.
Right. And when you give people options too, you're creating different base levels. Like, when you go to a restaurant and you see a wine list, right? You can you see the cheapest wine and you see the most expensive wine, and most people will pick either the second most cheapest wine or the one that isn't the most expensive. I mean, there's different strategies when it comes to pricing. If you listen to the episode with Derek Halpern and also another one with Ramit Sethi, we talk all about pricing structures and creating tiers and things like that, which can be helpful. And we could talk probably a whole hour about pricing. But talk about how well it's doing now, if you don't mind sharing any numbers. I remember in your email you mentioned a couple numbers that sort of blew me away.
Yeah, man. So our newsletter is close to over 10,000. We're growing every day. Sales wise, we're doing a nice 5 figures a month, which is really awesome, man.
That's great.
Dude, a year ago, it's funny. I got a picture of my bank statement, Chase, off my Chase app, and I just have a picture of it in my phone. And at one point, all I had was 27 cents in my bank account, man. It's like, whoa. And now we only been doing this for 8 months, and it's just like, wow, your life could change in 6 months. Your life could change in a year, So we're just trying to get bigger and better, and just continue to create more value, continue to help more entrepreneurs. That's how we look at our clients. Everybody that comes, whether we're doing the flash sales or we also have a segment where we promote new Kickstarter campaigns. We promote their early bird rewards. These people are entrepreneurs, so we try to help them in every aspect. We provide them more entrepreneurial tools besides just having a successful Kickstarter campaign, but simple stuff, how to get better at copywriting, how to build your list, how to reach out to journalists. It's kind of rewarding because this is what we love to do, man. We're entrepreneurs at heart, and we want to help other entrepreneurs.
That's awesome, Dwight. Dwight, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing all of that and inspiring all of us. Do you have any final tips for anybody who's looking to get started and probably take the same approach that you and Dane and Carl took when you're going out there, you're doing research, you're trying to find a pain or an issue in a particular niche? Do you have any advice for somebody who's starting to do that?
Yeah, man. Start small, move quickly, but definitely ask whoever your client base is, what's keeping you up at night. You guys probably heard this time and time again, you guys and ladies out there. But yeah, ask them what's keeping you up. What would make your job easier? What's the number one thing on your priority list? To monetize ASAP, see if you could really get that first dollar. How quick can you get the first dollar? Not necessarily to make the dollar, but to see, if there's really value there, or people are really willing to pay for it. And, it kind of incentivize you to move faster now because you notice that there's possibly money on the table out there that you can get. 3, MVPs, you hear this all the time, just minimal viable product, right? Just create something. When we started out with Launch Rock, which was free. We threw up a quick little landing page with some information. And, we really try to stay as lean as possible. And 4 is add value, be different. If you have competitors, that's okay. That means there's a market for what you're doing. How can you be different? How can you be unique? Each and every one of us are unique in our own way. What can you add to it that could give it your own spin?
Beautiful. Thank you, Dwight. Hey, if anybody wants to come check out what you're doing and possibly get a hold of you, where should they go?
Definitely. You guys could shoot me an email at dwight@BackersHub.com. If you're a backer and you're looking for deals, you can sign up at BackersHub.com. But if you're somebody that has an idea, if you ever wanted to launch a Kickstarter campaign, but just don't know how, or if you need a little bit of help, we're doing something pretty cool. Most of the times when we work with campaign creators, we're either working with them during their Kickstarter campaign or post-Kickstarter campaign. But we're creating something to help people before they launch their campaign, before the clock starts ticking. So we have something called From Zero to Funded. And basically, we're creating a course. It's going to be about 4 to 6 months where we're working with a lot of successful Kickstarter campaigns. We're creating an awesome course to really teach people and walk people step by step on what they need to do to launch a campaign. And if you're interested in that, you guys should sign up at signup.BackersHub.com.
And then what's the price point on that?
It's free. Right now, but it's limited seating, but it's really free. We just want to really roll it out, test it out, just get people's feedback on the course, see how they do. And then once we do that, we could definitely take it from there, whether we decide to monetize it or not. But what we want to do is really help entrepreneurs to get a great sense of what Kickstarter can offer and how powerful crowdfunding can be if done properly.
Nice. That is something I might potentially get into as well. I know a lot of people have been asking about Kickstarter. Definitely check that out. signup.backershub.com. Correct?
Yep. Correct.
All right. I'll be heading over there. Might see a Kickstarter campaign for me in the future. Everybody will see. I don't even know what it might be, but that'll be a lot of fun to experiment with, I think.
Awesome, man.
This has been great, Dwight. Thank you so much for all the information, and we'll hopefully connect with you later and see how everything's going.
Awesome, man. Pat, this has been 2 years in the making. I don't know if you remembered, but you actually backed my campaign like a couple of years ago, dude.
I do remember that.
See, dude, man. So, yeah, man. If there's one last thing I could tell anybody out there that's listening, reach out to people, man. If you hear an awesome interview on Pat's podcast, shoot that person an email. You would be surprised. Continue to network, continue to build relationships. That's what I spent my whole entrepreneur journey doing, just reaching out to people that had awesome stories and just seeing what value I could give them and what I could learn from them.
That's awesome, man. Perfect advice to end the show. Thank you so much, Dwight.
No problem, Pat. Thanks for having me, man.
Take care. All right, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Dwight Peters, founder of BackersHub.com. Dwight, I know you're listening to this. Thank you again so much for the inspiration and all the advice that you have for all of us out there starting and working and growing our online businesses. For those of you out there listening, if you want the links and the resources and everything mentioned in this episode, head on over to smartpassiveincome.com/session117 for the show notes. Of course, if you'd like to leave a comment and just thank Dwight, you can also go to that same link, smartpassiveincome.com/117. I also want to thank today's amazing sponsor, which is 99designs.com. If you're dreaming about the perfect logo or website design, but you don't know how to get started, or maybe you're worried about your budget, seriously, 99designs.com can help. It's the world's largest graphic design marketplace, which makes it completely easy for you to get a design that you love. You just go to the website, tell them the designs that you want or what you're kind of looking for. You don't even have to be exact, and you pick a price that works for you. And that's where all the fun really begins, because designers from around the world will submit awesome designs, and you will give them feedback. And within a week, you'll be able to pick your favorite one from all different styles and designs. It is so cool. I've used it several times in the past for logos, t-shirt designs, even landing page and website designs. With thousands of designers at your fingertips, there's really no limit to what you can get designed. So whatever it is that you need, head on over to 99designs.com/SPI, and you'll get a $99 power pack of services for free. Again, that's 99designs.com/SPI. Check it out. Thank you again so much for listening to this episode. If you'd like to download the app for Smart Passive Income to get this podcast, the Ask Pat podcast, and the Smart Passive Income blog content all in one spot for free. This app is completely free. Just head on over to smartpassiveincome.com/app. That's APP. That's it. Thank you again so much for listening to this episode. I hope you appreciate the all the work I'm trying to do for you here. Just leave comments and suggestions. I always love the constructive criticisms. I'm always looking to improve for you. Just head on over to smartpassiveincome.com/session117. And also, don't forget to thank Dwight. Dwight was an amazing guest today. And just take care. Keep working hard. Bold actions will take you to where you want to go, because if you stay comfortable, if you just keep doing what you're doing, if you just do average work, you're going to get the same average, comfortable results that you've always gotten. Get uncomfortable, take some risks, take action, take bold action, and see you in the next episode of the Smart Passive Income Podcast. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Smart Passive Income Podcast at www.smartpassiveincome.com.
Hey there, quick pause here because I have to tell you about a tool that completely transforms the podcasting workflow, Riverside. I get it. I used to juggle multiple platforms just to record one podcast episode. It was exhausting. Zoom for recording, Audacity for editing, and then a bunch of different apps just to create clips and social posts. I've tried other ones as well. They were okay, but they were clunky and super time-consuming. That's where Riverside has massively helped. I can do it all in one place: recording, editing, repurposing, one platform, one streamlined flow. I just log in, record with my guests no matter where they are in the world, and just like that, studio quality audio and high resolution video all in one. And get this, even if your Wi-Fi glitches, Riverside records locally on your device so everything sounds and looks crystal clear. But here's my favorite feature: Riverside's AI editing tool. You can remove silences and filler words with just one click. Hours saved. With Magic Clips, Riverside also automatically finds the best moments and turns them into ready-to-post videos for YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, all without the extra editing. So if you're looking to level up your production quality and simplify your workflow, go to smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside and use code SMART to get 1 month free on the Pro plan. That's smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside, promo code SMART. It's built by creators for creators, and I think you're going to love it. Look, I get it. You want to grow your business, but trying to sell to hundreds or even thousands of people gets very exhausting very fast. But what if you could sell at scale with a simple, powerful quiz? ScoreApp helps you sell to more people without adding more to your plate. You build a quiz or assessment that your audience actually wants to take. Then they answer a few quick questions and get a personalized result right away. It shows them where they're at and what they need to do next and how you can help. And you build huge amounts of trust before you make even a single offer. No hard sell, no chasing leads, just value at scale. Get 50% off the first 3 months using the discount code SPI. All you have to do is just head to scoreapp.com/SPI. Again, that's scoreapp.com/SPI.